What's up, guys? Dirk here from intelligentcryptocurrency.com, and today I am in a happy party mood because yesterday Bitcoin crossed $14,000. It also had the second highest monthly close ever in the history of Bitcoin, literally by about $60. If it would have been like $61 higher, it would have closed at the highest monthly close ever in the history of Bitcoin. This is massive. There is still no massive FOMO. There's no retail FOMO. There's no massive hype on social media or everywhere. And we are just gradually grinding higher, and it is looking very, very promising. So what I'm going to look at today in this video is we're going to look at the charts, and we're going to look at some possibilities for what is next for this month of November, for the month of December, and going forward into the new year. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Dirk, and what I try and do is bring you the best crypto content without the BS, without the hype and the shills that you see on other channels, to help you get the best chance of success with cryptocurrencies. If that is what you're after, then click the subscribe button below, click the notification bell so you get future updates. And of course, I would humbly like to request you to smash the like button after every video, or just leave a comment below. It really helps the algorithm. So let's get straight into it. Now, what we've got over here is a monthly chart of Bitcoin. And as you can see, it is November the 1st. So that means just yesterday, like I said, the monthly candle closed. And what a big green candle we have had. You can see over here, massive green candle, and we closed towards the top of it. We're still trading at about 13,786. So we're trading very much around those peak highs, those spike highs of 2019. Now, you can say over here, well, yeah, in 2019, we did hit that level, 13,868. But you can see there was a very big difference. This was a massive run up from the lows, and it was a spike, and the month closed way down. And then we had this massive drop. All right, guys, so a quick public service announcement before we continue with the rest of the video. For the month of November until the 30th of November 2020, I'm holding a very special offer on my program, Intelligent Cryptocurrency, where I'm not only having it very discounted, but I'm also offering it as a lifetime join fee, meaning that there's no future renewals, no annual subscriptions, none of that stuff. If you join during November, you're going to be in for the life of it. You can have access to all the courses, all the newsletters, all the future newsletters, all the updates, everything I add to that members area, which I'm continuously doing without ever having to pay any renewal fees again. And here, this is everything you need for education, for research. Every single month, I write a newsletter with new project research about coins that I think are going to do well. I share my own portfolio holdings. I share my own buy and sell movements. And of course, you get access to me personally in our private Discord chat groups. You get access to all the other members who are basically based all around the world, from Australia to Singapore to Dubai to Europe to the US. And you get to be a part of that network and just have other people on this journey with you. And all it takes is just one single tip to easily make the investment or the join fee of signing up back many times over. And like I said, during November, it is literally a one-time join fee. That is it. I've also added a 2-pay plan to make it more affordable, so you still have the option of getting that lifetime access through the month of November with a pay plan of 2 times 30 days. So again, everything is in there, all the value is in there, and it comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee. So really, you have no risk. You're getting an amazing deal here in November, the price, the lifetime access, and sign up. If you don't like it, if you're not happy with what I've created and the value and the support that I give, well, just let me know within 60 days. You get your money back in full, and there is no risk to you. So if you want to learn more about that, simply just go to intelligentcryptocurrency.com. All the info is on the homepage, or just click the first link in the description below. So let's get back to the video. Now, we've been grinding higher. We haven't had that crazy acceleration. Like you can see these massive candles, because it's just not sustainable. When something goes parabolic like that, we saw it in 2017, at some point there's a blow off, and it's followed by a long correction, right? Same thing in 2019, this big push, 5 candles, and then it went all the way back down. But now this year, this run up we've had is very casual. Here it's been mostly green candles. You can see in a row. Here we've had, slow 2 green candles, then a red one, 2 green candles, and a red one, and now we've got another green one. So the velocity behind it is much more sustainable. We've kind of just been grinding higher. Obviously, it's been a big run. I mean, since March, when we had that kind of flash crash over here, we're up like 3x, right? So obviously the ascent compared to any other markets is obviously high, right? 300% in a matter of like 6 months, 7 months is obviously very, very high. But at the same time, compared to the previous two runs, we're just chilling. There's nothing that indicates any sort of parabolic top at this point in time, any sort of blow off phase or anything like that. Bitcoin is just casually chilling here, and we had this monthly close. So you can see throughout this whole bear market, we haven't had the full body monthly close at this level. I can switch to a weekly chart too. It's the same thing on a weekly chart, right? So the only time that we've actually had Bitcoin at these levels, let me get my little rectangle, is basically this area, and it was both two little spikes. That's it. That's the only time we've traded above this kind of 13,800, 14,000 level. So we're kind of entering this uncharted territory, and it is looking very good. It is right on track with the 4-year Bitcoin cycles, where Bitcoin tends to peak out 12 to 18 months after the halving, which would put it anywhere somewhere between May 2021 and maybe November, December 2021, if that cycle was to repeat. Looks like it's right on track. Combining that with all the bullish news that's happening, I mean, if you've been following the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Then I've been talking about this for the last few weeks. Like, what is happening with all this news? It's crazy. Like, we're starting to see on the front page of the Wall Street Journal where they're saying cash is trash, betting on Bitcoin. We're seeing these publicly listed companies buying up hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. We're starting to see like all this growth in exchanges. We're starting to see banks get involved, and JP Morgan and PayPal is offering crypto to, like, it's all just right on time with this cycle. And you can say like, well, the news is going to cause the price to boom, but maybe it's the cycle, and that's what a lot of technical analysts believe. These cycles are already there, and whatever the news is going to be, it's just going to come there to help kind of fulfill the prophecy of the cycle, if that makes sense in a way. So if these cycles are 4-year cycles and they peak at 4-year cycles, then throughout the right points of the cycle, as the bull market is starting of that cycle anyway, then this bullish news is going to start coming, and that's what we're starting to see happen. So I'm still very much a believer that we are going to see a big boom in crypto. Also, just logically speaking, without any analysis or anything like that, basically there are a lot of big players in the world putting hundreds of millions of dollars into Bitcoin and crypto and the infrastructure, and they're going to want to see a return. Okay, would they be doing that for the fun of it, to throw their money away? No, they're doing it because they believe in it, but they're also betting on it. So they have a vested interest in making it work, which means they're going to put in more resources, whether that's capital and advertisements and human resources and everything, to be able to really grow the space and make sure that they're going to get an ROI on that. And obviously, the banks who are getting in on this and PayPal, they're going to start offering these services. Well, it's in their very best interest to get as many people into crypto as possible, because they're making money with the fees. So as that moves forward, I don't see how this doesn't become a massive industry and really go into the trillions of dollars over the coming years. And right now, like I said, the cycles are looking good. It is looking like we are on track possibly for a repeat of that 4-year cycle. And 2021 is going to be really big for Bitcoin, and as a result for altcoins, because they do move together. Okay, they have this relationship where first Bitcoin tends to move higher. If Bitcoin stays higher long enough, then the altcoins tend to follow. Something I've explained over and over, but I'll repeat it here again real quick, is Bitcoin tends to move first. And people question, like, Bitcoin goes, but I'm not sure about the altcoins. But this market is very much profit driven, just like most things in this world. Okay, so if Bitcoin goes up enough, that means at some point the upside potential of Bitcoin becomes very little. Okay, let's say Bitcoin goes 2x, 5x, 10x. At that point, what is the chance of it going much higher, right? So at that point, the upside risk becomes much lower, and the downside risk of Bitcoin coming back down becomes high again. So people who have these profits in Bitcoin see these altcoins who are much lower, right? And because the altcoins are lower and they have a much smaller market cap, the potential returns for that are enormous. So Bitcoin might have a 1 or 2 or 5x ROI potential, but these altcoins have 10, 20, 50, 100x, right? And again, this is all about profit. So if you can move and accumulate those altcoins when they're low and have a lot of them, pump more money into them as they grow, because the market caps are so small, they'll move so much higher, which is what we saw in 2017, where we saw coins literally in a space of 3 to 6 months, because they're so small. If enough capital flows into that and continues to flow, they pump like crazy. And I think we're going to get that again. I don't know when, right? It could be in the next few weeks. It could be in the next few months. It could take another year, right? But at some point, as Bitcoin continues to stay at these levels and go higher, it's just a matter of time, in my opinion, before these altcoins follow suit and do much, much better. So the question is, where do we go from here? What is in store for November? And there's basically two possibilities here. Either we get a massive pump and we continue, and we could see the all-time high, the 20K, before the end of the year in the next 2 months. It is completely possible. You can see these candles. I mean, even this, okay, this went from 5 to 8. So that's a $3,000 candle. I mean, two $3,000 candles and we're there. We get two of these big candles in a row, November, December, and we could be there. I mean, we could get a massive blow off like this also, which went from basically 9,000 to 20,000. I mean, we're almost there. We need like a $6,000 candle. It is possible, okay, or two $3,000 candles. It is completely possible. But what is also possible is that this month becomes another little red month like this, just to give it a bit of a pause. So what we could see is a pullback, maybe to around this level, maybe somewhere between 12,500 and 11,700, I think, about over here. I don't really see it going much lower, but we could have like an intra-month kind of pullback, and then, December could be another up month. So whatever it does, I'm okay with it either way. Obviously, the higher the better, but at the same time, I really like the slow kind of continued grind rather than the parabolic phase, because once it starts going into that parabolic stuff, it becomes unsustainable and we get another crash, and it takes months before we reverse and start going back up again. So I would kind of prefer maybe just a chilled month, maybe even not that much of a pullback, but I'm going to be looking to possibly enter some long positions around the 12.5 to 11,700 level if it does get there. And otherwise, we're just going to patiently wait, see what this month does. We obviously have the elections coming up next week, so who knows what's going to happen with markets. Everything is very volatile, so anything could really happen. We could be at 20K before the end of the year. We could just be chilling, and we could stay at this level for a month or two. And I think over the next year, there's a really good chance we're going to hit that all-time high and beyond. I mean, if we change this back to the weekly chart over here, let's have a quick look. You can see once again, we haven't had a weekly close since pretty much this level. Even these were spikes back in 2019. So things are looking good. I mean, we're not entering crazy overbought levels. You can see over here how the RSI on the weekly was just, oscillating way at these top levels of 88. We're casually just chilling here at about 71. So there's plenty of room still for upside momentum on the RSI here still. So all of that looks good. And again, on the weekly chart, you see it even better here. This is the only time in the history of Bitcoin that we've spent time above this level where we're currently at, right? So we're basically almost back at these all-time highs and this price action, and we're in a much better position this time, because look where it came from last time. It basically ran up from sub $1,000 all the way to here, and this was the blow-off phase, the mania phase, and we only spent a little bit of time there because it was unsustainable. Now we're kind of approaching these 14,000, 16,000 levels over here without a massive run up the way it was. So again, that leaves a good chance of the potential for this going way higher than the all-time high in the coming year and years ahead. Now let's have a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance, and what this means is the ratio of Bitcoin to altcoins, and this is again the relationship between Bitcoin and altcoins that's important to pay attention to if you are holding altcoins, which I know many of you are. So as we can see, these vertical lines are the two halvings. This was the 2016 halving, and this was this year's halving. And you can see what happened after the halving was that altcoins gain dominance. When this chart moves down, it basically means Bitcoin loses dominance, altcoin gain dominance, meaning that altcoins massively outperform Bitcoin during this period. And you can see Bitcoin dominance went from 96% all the way down to about 35%. Now, throughout the bear market, 2018 to pretty much most of this year, we had Bitcoin regain its dominance and altcoins underperforming relative to Bitcoin. And you can see we went from that low of 35 all the way up to about 70, almost 73 for Bitcoin dominance. And since then, we've kind of been falling. Now, we had this halving, and we've kind of had the spike over here. I think this is kind of an error on the chart. um, this spike, but just kind of ignore that anyway. You can see over here. So recently, altcoins over the last few weeks have kind of been underperforming and Bitcoin has been pumping, and that is normal. Okay, that's part of the cycle. So we can see over here. So this is kind of a point that I'm watching out for. It's very simple. It's just a trend line kind of drawn over the top. It could also be something like this, and we might already be there. It might be a little bit higher, so somewhere around there. But what happens is if this is going to repeat and the altcoins are going to start catching up again, well then very simply what we're going to start seeing is we're just going to start seeing Bitcoin dominance go back again to that low at some point. Now when that's going to be, I don't know, it could go quicker, it could take a little bit longer, but at some point that is when the alts are going to start outperforming Bitcoin again, and that is when all of us holding alts are going to be very, very happy, because that's when you see the crazy returns. Now, of course, make sure you have a cash out plan, make sure to protect your capital, and make sure to take profits. Okay, we've seen this time and time again over the last years. When altcoins pump, it is absolutely amazing. You see a 10x, 20x, maybe a 30x on your altcoins in a period of a few weeks. But if you don't sell, it is going to disappear just as quickly again. Now, obviously, you have to be smart and not try and sell too early. So it's a bit of a combination of, first of all, protecting your capital so that whatever happens, at least you have no risk to what you initially put in. Secondly, you want to look to take profits in stages. But thirdly, you also don't want to be selling and be left without coins of your favorite altcoin that might end up going 1000x in future. Okay. Imagine Bitcoin. Imagine you were able to buy Bitcoin at $100 and it goes to $1,000, and you sell all your Bitcoin and it goes to 20,000, 30, 40, 50,000, and you sold everything, right? So if there's a project that you really believe in for the long term, it might be a smart idea to actually hold whatever, right? Even if it does really pump, and you know, you sell maybe 90% or 95%, but just to keep a little bit of that in case, you know, for the future, who knows, it might end up becoming the world's biggest coin or platform or whatever it is, only if you believe in that coin, obviously. So that's it for today's episode. Click here if you want to watch another video, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.